So after years of throwing my keys, wallet, and mail all over the place, I decided it was finally time to utilize my brand new welder and build my first metal built-in. I wanted to stop the struggle and give all of these items that I normally deal with a place to rest. So the first thing I did with my wife was just kind of do a full-scale layout and decide what was going to go where and how we were going to use the space. Once we determined what size we wanted this custom little nook, I went to my local welding shop, had them cut me some plate steel for the back and some other parts, and bend some custom angle that will make up for the jambs. From there, I had a great starting point. I was able to lay out my parts and start tack welding the frame together. As far as all the other little pieces go, I just went to my local depot and picked up the angle and the flat steel and tubing that I needed for the project. The first shelf was to hold my pencils and tape measures and items that needed to be charged. 3 more slots for mail, 1 for envelopes and 2 for magazines. Now it was time to start chopping up the pieces of steel that I needed with my new Steel Demon blade. Then I simply laid out the project with some wood blocks, inserted the angle, and clamped it together and tack welded it. This expanded metal was a last minute add-on that I found at the store, and I realized exactly where I wanted to use it. So I clamped up my straight edge, grabbed a grinder, and cut it into the pieces that I needed. Had to touch it up a little bit on the grinding wheel. Again, I just inserted those pieces right in place and gave them a tack weld to hold them. For me, one of the coolest features on this unit was this little flip lid storage that I'm using for wallet and my knife and some other things that are going to be going in there. That did, however, add a little bit of difficulty to a new metal worker. Here I was making the notches for the bottom rail, and I'm drilling the hole for the hinge, which is a 1/4 inch rod that is welded right to the flip lid. I ended up cutting the flip lid to size with the grinder and then putting a finger pull hole with the drill press, clamping it in place, and here you could see that I'm tack welding it right to the hinge. Here I'm just giving it a quick cleanup with a wire wheel on the grinder. A key part to this is to have a location to finally hold all my keychains for the cars and trucks. I took some 1/2 inch tubing, cut it 2 inches in length, and cut a few little caps and welded it to the back of the cabinet before the back was installed. Then I simply dropped the box on top of the back and tack welded it all the way around. A place for my hats were a must. I had to have at least a couple posts sticking out so I can store my many hats. I used 3/4 inch square tubing, welded some bigger caps on it, and that would allow me to hang the hats without the hats sliding off the edge. The next step was the finish, and I chose to use Cold Blue, Super Blue by Birchwood Casey. It was a pretty cool process. For this project, I chose to do 1 coat of the Super Blue and use the steel wool to give it a rubbed through antique looking finish. After you're complete with the bluing, it's very important to wash it down with soap and water. This will basically deactivate the bluing process. And after it's thoroughly dried, I used this Barricade product, also by Birchwood Casey, and sprayed on a couple of coats and rubbed it off with a rag, and it gave a beautiful finish at the end. Now it's time to install it in the mudroom, and let me tell you, for this size, this thing was a heavy little cabinet. So I put it in place, fed the wire through it for the charging station, and then put 6 screws in it, and it was good to go. So that's it, it's installed. I loaded it up and I'm real happy with the outcome, and the whole project from start to finish took me about 9 hours to complete. So that's it, thanks a lot for watching, I appreciate it, and please subscribe to my channel as I will be posting more projects coming up.